Live.
Oh. It's time! Treasure hunting in the sharky waters of the World Wide Web with Queen Ree! I'm your host, Captain World, and here is my co-host, Smeedy the cat.
The Smeedy the elusive and
Speaking
sometimes
of being
violent
woken up,
cat.
don't you, Smeedy?
Don't plague her today or she will bite you
Can't
again.
hear. Did I do something wrong?
I think you did something wrong because all of my things
I
are looking
can't hear
good.
you.
I know, but I can't say anything to you, can I? Let's see.
I can't.
My
hear
mic is
you.
working. Okay, let's see if I can chat with him and on some sort of channel here.
I look weird.
Okay, can you still not hear me, Ola? We're having some technical difficulties. We are. Now I can't hear you. Now I can hear you.
Yes.
Is it good? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I was almost gonna come in there in the other house and chat with you. So we're packing down our whole house before going off on a 11-week sailing adventure. So I've added a Kanban board over here to actually make sure we get everything done. And there's some like pieces here, and Ula's in a different part of the generational. Anyway, so now we got it all going. Show our little thing. Show me your Tinkerbell. He can't hear me again.
I can't hear you again.
Oh my god, this is the best stream ever.
I don't know.
Anybody is watching,
but I will
please
say
talk to
we
me
are
because
going
I don't.
to add avatars to our feedback fort thing. That's the what. And I think that try saying something because I can't hear you on the YouTube either. So,
Okay, I'm speaking. Can you hear me now?
Oh no, it's me.
I can see my little dots moving, so I am being recorded.
You just said the why?
I did not say the why, but I can say the why so we can see little faces on the comments and the feedback items. Ola, you need to fix this because I can't talk to you. Look at me. Look at this. This is interception.
Ja, det ikke meg det noe feil med.
Jo, jeg ser at mine små bars beveger på seg.
Ok, da fikser jeg det. Nå har jeg dratt ut ledningen. Altså, jeg har en ledning inn, så det er litt rart hvis mine høretelefoner plutselig ikke funker, for de har alltid funket. Har du sagt why og how?
Nesten. Din speaker er Bluetooth.
Ah, ja, ok.
Sånn. Da kan du putte litt.
Takk. I can hear you. Yeah, it was my fault. I have these earphones on and I have a cord going to the machine, but I'm decided that the Bluetooth should work.
So the Bluetooth had hijacked his audio, which is usually what happens. Ula's Bluetooth is always hijacking something. Okay, I did. Let's just redo the what, why, and how.
Okay.
Okay. Have you put the cord in?
No, because you're on speaker anyway, so
Well, okay. So what we're adding user avatars to our feedback system. So we're going to add them to the feedback items, and we're going to add them to the comments we added last week. And the why is kind of just to, give the UI a little bit more of a flair, and it's a nice way to kind of see if people have voted on things or commented. It's like nice to see their little faces or avatars on there, and it's also a way for me to show you how you can sync data from Outsera. And the how. Let's get into it.
yes. Will it AI?
So this time I'm pretty sure it's not gonna AI, but we'll
Why is
see.
that?
So in the main article I created about that I've created for the system, Feedback Fort is the starter that I've made, and then we've made a tech stack voting system from it. And what I wrote there is that you want to keep all of the information about accounts and people in Outsera. Outsera is like the main. That's where the data about accounts and people are. And then in our database, in this case, Supabase, that's where we store the feedback items and the votes. And in our case, we've also added comments. So as you can see, our little diagram here is that person and account is all in Outsera, and then feedback and vote is all in the database. And then I say, of course, there are legitimate use cases where you want to duplicate user data from Outsera and into your own system. But I see that complicates the setup a lot for people. And often what all they want is either like the avatar or just a name or the email of somebody. And you don't have to replicate our whole kind of structure here in Outsera for that to work in your system. So on this stream, we're going to add user avatars. So what I'm going to propose we do is that we'll add a user profile in our database. So since we're working with Supabase that has low row level security, one of the things that are often hard as well is that you have a user or you have maybe a person here, and then some of the data on the person should not be shared with the public, and some should be able to be shared with the public. And if they are in the same table, then our row level security doesn't really work, because if we give person a public access with our row level security, then all of the data on person would be public. But sometimes some of it is, it's not private, but at least it should only exist for logged in users, or it should only be available for like administrative users or that person itself. So what I suggest doing then is to create a table that we often call profile. And in our case, I'm even going to call it like public profile. So we'll sync the user's avatar and the user's perhaps name. So that would be up to your system. Like, have you told the people that log in that their name is going to be shared? Have you told them that their avatar is going to be shared? Like, that would be up to you and the system that you have. But in our case, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to assume, or like if for our system, we allowed that, or we're going to make the avatar a public, something that is public. And then I don't think we're going to take people's name, but maybe we should take their initials. So their initials can be part of a public profile. So where do we want to do that? And that's another case that I see, is that a lot of Outsera users set up very complex automations to try to sync everything all the time. But if you decide on using Outsera as the source of truth for your person and account information, and you always ask Outsera for the latest kind of data, when you need that, then you could have a system, as we're going to do today, where on every whenever a user logs in, we're going to grab their avatar. And what that means is that if somebody hasn't logged in for a really long time, if you go and look at the feedback website, maybe the avatar on this card here is going to be an outdated avatar until that person logs in again. And for this use case, that is totally fine. Like, we're going to use the avatars more as like a flare in the UI. We could set up a webhook system. So whenever somebody changes their avatar in Outseta, it updates the avatar information in Supabase. So that could be something you do down the line. But I just wanted to showcase that you don't have to keep this data in multiple places and keep it updated in multiple places. In this case, we're just going to pull out the avatar so we can add that to our design. But you could choose to keep it updated, but I wouldn't. There has to be like very unique use case where I would go to the length of replicating all of Outseta's data on accounts and people into your own system, because it's the World Wide Web. Webhooks can fail. With distributed systems, if you try to keep everything in sync, we usually call it eventually in sync. It's very hard to keep things like super in sync all the time. And the other way you could do is that we could have a job that runs maybe once a day that pulls in all of the avatars. So you know that an avatar is never more than 24 hours out of sync. So there's different ways, and you have to kind of like look at your use case and see how much time do you want to spend keeping that avatar up to date. For instance, like how much coding or Zapier automation time do you want to use on that? So for this case, we're just going to do the syncing when somebody logs in. We're going to grab the latest avatar when they log into our system. They might be logging into the same login in some other system that we have connected to the same Outseta account, and that won't help. But as long as they log into our system, we're going to sync. So that was a long explanation. And the pirate princess is here. Hello, Banan.
Hi.
Okay. So I'm going to try. So where do we do the sync? So an interesting place to do the sync when we're working with Supabase and Outseta is we already have this exchange. Did I make I never made a diagram for that, which I should. But every time somebody logs in to our feedback system, we take their access token and we swap it for an Outseta access token or exchange it. So I've called this endpoint exchange. So we get the Outseta signed JOT from the header, and then we validate it or we verify it, so that we are sure that this person is who they claimed to be. This is a valid and then verified JOT. And then we create a Supabase access token so that we can use Supabase row level security and then respond with that. And we respond with that JOT, and that's the JOT we're using to pull in all this data that we have saved in Supabase. So this function will always be called on the server when somebody is logging in. So this would be a great place to add that logic that when somebody logs in, we're also gonna grab their avatar. And here I am verifying the Outseta JOT by using the public key from Outseta. Another way we could do this is by trying to use one of the protected Outseta and API endpoints. So where's like Outseta? Oh, I can't even write Outseta API. So we have some endpoints like profile. Get profile, and get profile is to use this endpoint, you need to send in the user's access token or JOT, and that's what we have here. And here we verify it by using that public key. But another way we could verify it is by calling this endpoint get profile, because if we get the profile data back, we know that it's a valid token. And in that call, we'll also get the avatar. So we're going to swap out all of this code here and ask it to call the Outsera get profile endpoint instead. And then we know that this is a valid and verified user. And then we can do this Supabase access token just like we did before. But we'll also then add in saving the avatar to Supabase. So now I'm going to think how we can get AI to do this best. This you have to be super specific because they always want to try and do something else. So we'll try. I even got access to the 4 or something. Did I get access to that here? No, that was somewhere else. Oh, here. Yeah, the Claude 4 Sonnet. It's like the newest. Like I'm not that into AI. I just tried to use it. So I don't know all of the latest and greatest. So what I did is that I highlighted all of these all of these lines so that we see here we have index 26 to 31. And then I say I'd rather validate the token.
Can you make it bigger?
Oh, this part as well. Can I make that bigger?
It's very small. Oh, yeah, okay. If you close up all the file sidebar thingies.
Oh, you want to make this bigger?
No, it's bigger now, but
or the
if
text.
you close the file sidebars, all the files are in the open in the sidebars, and we don't really. Yes.
I don't know how to get that away from here right now.
You click on all the files. Okay, sorry. Yeah, there.
What to hide it? Use the icon on the top or press B. There we go.
Yes.
Okay. I'd rather validate the token with a request to get profile, and then we'll copy this link, and let's see if it does what we want. So it says, I understand you want to validate that's by making a request to their profile endpoint instead of using a JWKS verification, which is like a JOT key set verification. This is a valid approach. We can use the token to make a request outside our API to verify it's valid and get the user profile information. Yes, so that is exactly what I wanted to do. So let's do accept, and then let's look at the code. Then I'll have to zoom out a little bit. So it does validate token. So profile is response is doing a fetch to the Outsera domain that we've configured API, and then profile, and then it's using our JOT that we got in, and we're using it as a bearer token to call this endpoint. And then if it's not okay, it's an invalid token. And then it actually gets the profile. And then instead of using the data from the JOT, it's using the data from the profile, which is fine, except that the Outsera user or the Outsera responses are all capitalized, and the AI always, even here where we kind of gave it the link to that to the documentation for that endpoint, they always want them to be lowercase. So let's do UID, which is large, and then do email. Yeah. And for this system, I haven't set up the local Supabase locally with Docker and using the CLI. So to be able to verify if this actually works, we'll have to deploy this function. So I'm going to copy paste all of it and head on over to Supabase. It always wants to like go to the project I never use. So export. Yeah. And then I think it's edge functions, and here's our exchange. And then I never really know how to edit it, but let's see. Here's the edit. I know I can edit it in here, but how do I edit it? Code. Maybe code? Oh, there it is. So yeah. And then we paste it in and we deploy the updates. And we can look at the logs. And we'll try again. So now I'm not even testing locally. I'm just testing from production.
I like it.
Okay, so it looks like it still works. So that's good. We still have the same functionality that we already had. So let's do a quick git status. Ooh. Git commit all whip, since I just closed down that window. Oh, message. I do have to do message whip. So that still worked. So the next step now that we're going to be more interesting with the AI is that I'd like to let's see. I'd like to sync the user's avatar on every exchange into a Supabase table named public profile.
Ba-ba-bam.
And let's see what it comes up with. So what it will need to do is it will need to create a table for us for public profile. It needs to set up row level security for public profile, which I am then hoping, you know, publicly selectable, but only updatable by the backend via like the I guess the service key. So that's only the backend that knows the service key that can bypass any row level security. That's the one that can update. And then it will need to add some code to our exchange function to actually do that saving. So let's see what it comes up with. I'm going to zoom in again so that you guys can see what it says. I'll help you modify, blah, blah, blah. I don't see an existing profile table, so we need to create one. So it's creating a new, what's called a migration file that adds the profile table. And it's enabling row level security. Anyone can view profile, users can update. Oh, so that's a smarter way of doing it. So only the users can update their own profile. I guess then it can use the user's Supabase JOT. We'll see how it does it. So anyone can view profile. And anyone with the correct JOT can update, and then create a function to handle profile updates. So I'm not sure what's happening here. Create a replace function public handle profile upstart returns trigger as something begin current return new. Okay. If we create trigger for profile updates. So I'd rather just do the saving of the upstarting from the code and the exchange, but we'll see what it comes up with. And now we'll modify the exchange function to sync. So it's getting the Supabase URL, it's getting the service key, and then it's creating a client. So why does it need all of this like service key if it's using the JOT of the user? Sync profile data to Supabase. From profile, it upstarts with the UID, the email, the avatar, URL, display name. We don't have that. And we don't want the email to be public. So this will need to change. So initialize. Okay. So I'm not going to let it deploy. Well, we'll accept all and then we'll start changing it.
I have a question then.
Not want to sync email or display name, only avatar. Okay, yeah.
So those two trigger and function and stuff that you were like, okay, I don't really know what that is, but you still want to let him do it, him, her,
them. What I do is like since I'm not running these migrations files automatically. I found it's easier to kind of let it do accept the change and then ask it to do changes afterwards. So we haven't committed this code. We're not using it yet. So I'm going to go back and highlight it and ask it to explain to me why it's there before deleting it. Maybe I learned something new.
Okay.
So it modified the profile to only include created at and updated at outside of person UID and avatar URL, which is great. That's all we need. And And the linter errors are presented because of Dino types, which they are because I haven't gotten Dino set up with Cursor. Dino is like a new node. I don't know. And to apply these changes, you'll need to apply the updated migration to modify the profile table and redeploy the exchange function. So let's stop there and let's see what we got. It's annoying I can't get like the code window to have one. I probably can. I just don't know right now. And then get the AI to have a different font size. So what it's doing now, it's that it's updating profile. And it says continue with token exchange even if profile sync fails. And that is absolutely how I want it to go. Like even if we can't sync the profile over, then we still want to let the person log in. Like this is just kind of, just like niceties. It's not a must have. So that was a good choice. So let's go. Oh, it's done something here I don't want it to. I think I wanted to use the same expiration date that the original Jot has. So we're going to go through this change. This change very, very closely. But we use the Supabase service key, which is fine, I guess. Okay, so let's have a look at our changes. So it's added in Supabase, so we can have a Supabase client, which is fine. But then, oh, yeah, we already had that, so it didn't change that, so that's fine. Okay, so this one is good. And then we'll go to our migration file and have a look. So now we have a public profile. Anyone can view profiles and the user can update their own profiles. And then now I'm going to ask like, what are these things doing? Because I'm not a database person, so I don't read this out. I can't read that. So I'll put it into ask mode and I'll ask, what does this do? And since it's got like two things selected, I'm going to delete both and make sure that we only have this one thing selected.
Oi,
Det er roboten som hjelper til.
kult.
It's very small again.
So what it does is that it's actually only it's updating the updated at timestamp. As part of trigger system on the profile table, the profile table has an updated at column that tracks when records are modified. The trigger on profile update is created to run before update on the profile table. When any profile record is updated, the trigger automatically fires the handle profile upsert function, then sets the updated timestamp to the current time. So now I want to look at the other things we've done. Did we include an updated at on those? Because if not, I don't see a reason. Yes, we do have an updated on those. So I guess we'll just keep it in. So then I need to read it more carefully before I let AI ruin my project. Handle profile of the trigger as, so that's anything, I guess. And then new updated at on profile
The whole
update.
function is just to create a
storage.
timestamp.
I think so. What does this specifically do? Yeah, so all of that is to get set the current timestamp and then update proceeds with a new timestamp in place. Now I'm wondering how we're doing timestamps for the other ones. But I'm gonna say let's remove updated at, because I don't really care about that at this point. Accept, and then let's merge the two profile migration files because we don't need them to be two. Because we haven't done any migration yet, we don't need them to be two different migration files.
Yeah.
Can't hear me. Well, I turned off the mic. How long haven't you been able to hear me? Now I can't hear you. This is the day of issues. Well, now everybody can hear me, I hope. I've been talking and talking and nobody knows what I've been talking about. Okay. I'm going to double check that. I must have just pressed this little thing without thinking about it. Okay. Let's try again. So so what I just did is that I found the actual name for our profile image in Outseta, and the AI doesn't really know it because it's the profile. It's called profile image S3 URL. Hello, Stefan. We have had all the issues today with audio. First, Ola's Bluetooth headphones kind of hijacked his speaker. And then now, I don't know what happened. I probably just touched this and I have a little mute thing on the side. And for some reason, I couldn't hear Ola talking to me. And I was like in the middle of doing something. But okay, so I knew, because I've had this issue before with Outseta, right, that our avatar URL is not called avatar. It's called profile image S3 URL. But I never remember what it is. So I had to go and find it. So I'm going to copy paste this again. And head on over to, where is my, head on over to my Edge function and copy paste that in again, and then deploy. And hopefully now, if we log in, we will have, we'll be able to sync that profile. So how long was I without audio?
I think you're okay.
Okay.
Oh, I can't hear you.
No, I couldn't hear. No, it was me. It was I touched the mute button on my thing. So.
You can see where I said I can't hear you again.
Okay, that was right away.
That's right.
Okay, so about 6 minutes. I was doing all kinds of genius explanations in that time. Oh well. Okay, so we can see here that I have an avatar for my Queen account at Feedback Tech Stack. So if we go over to the table now, hopefully we have a profile with an avatar URL, and we do. Look at that.
Look at it.
It is. Boom. It's there. So that is the first step. So now we have the data. But what I would like to do,
Sorry.
I mean, some streams are just, more fun than other streams. And I'm really sorry to everyone trying to fix their audio when it was my issue. See, I keep like touching my mic. You can't see it, but I keep touching my mic. I need to learn not to do that, since I can actually mute it with my finger. So what I would like to do now is that these comments, so I'll set up person UID here and person UID there and there, that those are connected with these nice little lines, aka being foreign keys. So we'll try. I might get an issue because we don't have a profile for every person UID that's already been in the system. But we'll try. So I'm going to do another whip commit, because it's working so far. So git commit stage. So this is kind of for me. And I guess that's what everybody says, is like the AI is really good at stuff you don't really know 100%. And I must admit that database migration files and all of that is not kind of my, my specialty. I feel like I know enough that I can kind of review it to not be dangerous database code. But yes?
Si det.
Vi kan ikke høre deg. Du lager ikke noe lyd.
Seriously, it's not muted.
Du tar opp det.
Er det Kaptein Ola?
Well, can somebody else hear me? Because I can see my
Yeah,
things
Katarina.
working. See, I don't trust that they can't hear me now because he couldn't hear me earlier. So if Stefan, if you're still here, could you say something if you can hear me? So he says he can hear me. So now the issue is on your end again, Hula. Huh? I'm gonna tell him to turn off Bluetooth. Turn off Bluetooth. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so why we're all so tired and things are being messy is that this weekend we all kind of became a little stuffy and have a cold, and then on top of that, Lillian had her first ever circus performance as the magician Rolf Gunnar, her alter ego, and it was awesome. But we as parents had to work by moving all of the circus equipment from their rehearsal space down to a stage in central Oslo, and then they had 2 performances, and then we had to help get everything back into the circle rehearsal space. So that was, it was a big weekend. So we're a little under the weather, and still a little under the weather, all of us. So sorry about that. Okay, so that worked. So we're gonna ask AI for things that I'm not really good at, which is the best thing to use it for. So could we update the database to connect comments and votes to profile through Outsera person UID? Look at that. I can see you already have a good database structure in place. Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Looking to, we can see that when user creates a comment. So it doesn't want to do any changes. That's a first for me. That is an absolute first, because they always want to connect things, or it always want to do more code than I do. Yeah, let's make the Outsera person UID be foreign keys. So it's going to create foreign key constraints to ensure referential integrity between the tables. We'll need to modify the database scheme to add foreign key constraints for comments and vote table to profile table. So that's what I wanted. It's called a foreign key constraint. See, this is where the AI shines for me, at least. It's that I have kind of partly a concept. Like, I know these things partly. And then with the AI, it can actually do these things for me. But now the question is, do we want to delete all the comments? So what happens if they're, we don't want to reset the database. We just want to do it check. So we are adding vote feedback constraints. And I'm thinking that means that if we don't have a profile for that row, it's going to error out. So I'm going to ask if it can be lenient. Is there a way to not require the foreign key row? Because in case we haven't, to allow nulls. So we can allow nulls. Oh, we don't want to allow nulls because a table can now be null. The profile is deleted. That setup person UID and records will be set to null. No, I want to keep the Outsera person UID value, but not require a profile row. I have no idea if this is even possible. In this case, we can use partial foreign key constraints that only applies when the outside of person UID is not null. This way, the value can exist independently of the profile. But still, I might have a person UID, but not have a profile line. But you know what? I'll probably, let's skip that. Let's restore the original checkpoint. So what I'll have to do is that I'll have to make sure that foreign key constrained. What I'll do also is I'm going to check what it does on like vote and feedback, because I don't think it's added as a constraint like that. It's added as, so feedback, it's as a reference. So that's what I want. I want it as a reference. Okay, let's stop this whole thing. What about making it a reference, like between vote and feedback? All this just because I just want this nice little like blinky, blinky, blinky line. Let me create a new migration to add similar references to the profile. Drops and recreates outside a personal data column in each table. Adds a proper reference constraint to the link to the profile table. Maintains the default value of sub. Okay, we're not going to do that today. So we're going to skip getting the nice little, foreign key thing. We're just going to keep it as it is. So let's not do that. What we'll do then instead is that we want to display. So let's display. Let's display an avatar on the feedback card. So it's adding the, it looks like it's adding it to our active feedback with metadata view, which is nice. And then it's going to add the avatar somewhere, and it's even added some sort of placeholder. Okay, accept all. Let's see. Then we'll need to go into our development. Run dev. Let's see what we got. Look at that. I don't think the Queen has added anything. So let's try add something with Queen. And then something is beeping in here. Ulla, have you done something on the kitchen that you need to look at? Okay, and avatar test. Okay, we're not getting the avatar, but we should get an avatar because we do know that the Queen has an avatar. So then something is wrong. So let's have a look.
But
user,
we should get an avatar because we do know that.
Now I could hear myself. So what has it done? Let's read through what it's done. Update active feed view SQL that update. Okay, we didn't do the update active view migration. So that might be why. So let's do that. Let's run it. Yeah. And then, okay, it's still not. Did it go through? Cannot change name of view column. Upload to avatar URL. Use alter view rename column to change the name of view column instead. So it's doing something. The AI has done something weird here. So now we actually have to use our brains. Create or replace view, active view. We have the count. We don't want the count to be avatar URL. user vote ID as user vote ID as upvotes. And then we need the avatar URL to actually come from, let's see. Here is our, this is our, this one was working. So somehow it's just like added the P avatar on there. That feels weird. So let's delete. So the active feedback view to include avatar URL from the profile. The migration file is not working. So we need a new column. Okay. Okay, so what is it trying to do? To list all columns from the feedback table. This ensures that the columns are in the correct order and prevent any naming conflicts. The new avatar URL column is now properly added after all the feedback table columns. We're no longer using a wildcard, but I can't see that it's getting the avatar from the profile. Then I'm like being snarky, but where is it getting the profile? Where is it getting the avatar from profile? Because I would assume we would do a select something when the user logs in. Yes. So when that is correct. Oh, it's there on the bottom. I didn't see it. So here it says left join profile on F. I'll set up person UID, say person UID. So it's doing it here. Okay, now we can try. No. Still not working. And this is when I have to like change gears in my mind and like get the existing view first and recreate it again. Yes, please. Okay, let's try again. It's the last time I'm trying, and then I'll engage my brain. Okay, let's have a look now. Oh, look at that. I was the one that made all of these. So let's make sure I'm the actual person who made all of these and not that we have like a wrong thing. So I don't know if you can even, can you talk, Willa, or is everything off on your end? Yes, it's the same person who's created all of them. So that is actually correct, that it should be the same avatar.
I can talk, but I hear you with a lag because I only hear you on the YouTube.
Yes, it's the same person who's created all of them. So that is actually correct. That it should
Why
be
can't
the
you
same,
put the cord in?
avatar.
I can
Computer, turn
talk,
off
but
Bluetooth
I
and
hear
put the
you
cord
with a
in.
lag because I only hear you on the YouTube.
Yes, it's the same person who's created all of them. So that is
This is just insanity. Okay, so that worked. And now I would like an avatar to be shown on comments. So last week we created comments. So if we did this, we can see comments. It would be nice to have an avatar here. I'm not going to be hung up on the styling on this show because then it's going to be running too long, and we need to quit snart. I'm starting to speak Norwegian on this stream, which that means I'm more under the weather than I thought, because when I can't stay in one language, that is usually what has happened. So here we go. Let's write another good one we can write. as ourselves. Well, where did now the comments are gone. Relation. Oh, it's because we we haven't done the migration yet. So here's a new migration file. Create a view to show comments with metadata, which also we could also grab them without using a view. So like let's do it with the Supabase client and not a separate view. Because Supabase does have built-in join capabilities in their client query. So for this one, I would like to do that instead. So I'm going to delete this migration file. Oh, AI wants to delete the migration file, but I already done it, so it can't find it. So now hopefully it works. It doesn't. Let's see. So it's selecting. Coding with AI is kind of chaos. See, it goes really well for a while, and then I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm tired, but now I'm like, oh God, this is not how we do things with Supabase. Let's use client
Not how we
join.
do things with Supabase.
Hurra? Now I can hear you. I have to mute you again.
Use.
Well, if you want to talk on the show, I would love to, but you have to put the cord of your headphones into your computer. So I'm going to check Supabase. Where is the Supabase? The Supabase client can do joints. Where's the Supabase? I'm pretty sure. Here it is. Okay. Many joints. Supabase. So it's users. Okay, so that looked correct. So profile, avatar URL, but we need to know what to match them on because it's not a we don't have the references set up, so we'll need to choose what to match them on, I guess. If you have a project that tracks when employees check in this case, you need to explicitly define the joins because the joining column on shift is ambiguous as they both are referencing the scans table. To fetch all the shifts with scan, either start and scan in the end related to scan, use the following syntax. So start scan. So maybe we can't do the joins when we don't have a reference. Yeah, the data APIs automatically detect relationships between Postgres data tables. Since Postgres is a relational event, this is very common. Okay, so maybe we need to use the, let's go back to view, back to making a view. Okay, so we're back to using the view because then it can actually join on these properties that are not for references. I guess. I mean, don't listen to me now because these things are. I semi know what I'm talking about, but we're learning. Okay, so now it works. We have a this one doesn't have a avatar, and this one has an avatar. So it's not looking too good, but it's working. So let's do clean shot. And then we'll ask the avatar, no, not the avatar, we'll ask the AI. Make, comment avatars square as well. And then we'll just add the image in there. I don't know if this went faster than if I did it myself. I just have to say. Will it AI? Yes, kinda. Let's see if it can actually make its own code, fix its own code here. No, I wanted what's a square instead of rectangle? Like I want it, I want it same width and height. At least in Norwegian, square always has the same width and height, and a rectangle does not. So, you know, maybe didn't make myself understood. There we go. And then let's get back to rounded corners. Let's get back that rounded corner. So it thought that I didn't want the rounded corners, that I wanted it like super square. It's like chatting. It's like chatting with somebody while you're working. Okay. So there we go. We have avatars there. We have avatars there. So let's add avatars to who has voted. Add a list, a stack of avatars for votes. And then we'll quit. I feel like it's always like this. Like some streams go like super nice, and then some streams are just a cluster F from beginning to start. So again, we have a migration file that is adding something to our feedback view, and then we get an error. Error for migration. I'm just accepting everything at this point. It's always so nice. Oh, I understand the issue now. When modifying a view. So if you saw last week's stream or caught some of that, I would go in and read my little preventing sneaky white space only comments that AI let pass in Supabase, because it really, really looked like it would blend, or will it AI in last stream, or like everything just like perfectly done by the AI. But then I realized you could write empty, like if you didn't write anything into the comments field, or there was some kind of client-side validation that we had to put something into the comments field, but you could put all white space, and there was no server-side validation of that data with the code that AI had created. So I had to go in and tweak that after the stream, and it's hard to see while on stream and like things are going, but just goes to say that we got to review the code as if it was written by a super junior. So I think I'll find things in this code after the fact as well, that I might want to change when I have a different, like when I'm rested again. So it's still saying this error because it is this file, or which file? No, it's not that file. It's this file. Update active feedback. Okay, maybe I was doing the wrong file. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, look at that. It's kind of working. There's the little avatar that has voted. And then I unvote, I vote, I unvote, I vote. So the only thing is like the little bit of a weird UI here. And I know that Daisy has a avatar stack. So let's go to stack or avatar. I think it has an avatar stack. So let's use the avatar group. Let's use the avatar group from Daisy for the UI. It feels a little bit wasted that it has to like write out all of the code again. So, you know, Stefan, I'm a little less sad than last time. Like, I'm not super impressed with the speed today, but it had just been me as well. I remember last week where we were a little like sad that kind of our jobs were going away, but see, now it just like I asked it to use that and it's like totally not working. So let's just code this. I want to say it. I'm not going to say it, say what I want to say, but let's clean up this mother something. So let's do, it's in feedback list, I guess, under, like, let's search for avatar URL. So what I usually do after a stream with all of these is that I go in and I clean them up. And in this case, I will probably add them as migration steps after the fact, after these create, because this is the, you know, our project that we're working on and we're working in steps. But for our starter, I go back and I merge it all so that we only get like a very clean migration package to start off the starter for somebody. But I mean, migration files are really important when you're working on real live production stuff. But I'm a little reckless with them when working on this like super simple project. I could always go in and add these back in. And thank you for the praise. Okay, so let's me just find this avatar, and Ola will be mad because I promised him no, like try to keep this short, and I'm not keeping it short. But these avatars display voters. Like, what happened? Where's my remaining voters? Avatar group class. Simplify the avatar structure to use Avid Daisy's UI built-in classes. I mean, this is not looking like anything. But where are we? We're in the vote button. Oh, we put it in the vote button. So I guess it's a vote summary now. So display voters. If it's more than 0, yes. What is remaining voters? Vote. Display voters. Oh, it's only displaying show up to 3 avatars. Okay, let's just skip that for now because we don't have that many votes. So what was the so let's do voters. I'm just gonna delete all of this because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous code. Voters, and we're gonna map over them. See, I can't write code anymore. Just kidding. Voter, I mean. And then we want to return our Tailwind avatar. So it's an avatar group, and then every avatar should look like that. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a voter avatar URL. Well, there you were really really good to me. Why did it do it twice? There you were good to me, AI. So now we have, for every voter, we should have a voters. Okay, we're skipping this. Something is off here. I guess I'll have to fix this later. Let me console log that. So you don't know your own code when the voter has done everything. So it is avatar URL. So why are you not showing up? Voter map. Oh, I'm not returning it. Excuse you me. Return. There we go. So now we have the blank voter, and then you have me. So then and then we wanted to add the avatar group around it. So I'm just going to add it no matter if there are voters or not. Like, it doesn't really matter if it's there. And then we have the blank one, and then we have me. I really want it to be small. I guess we should be able to make it small. I see that there's a small one here. So we can just do V8 instead. So let's do V8. There we go. Now we're up to something. And then we want to replace that vote. So if there is no voter avatar URL, and if not, we'll need to use our avatar placeholder. There we go. I'm going to get a different placeholder, but I guess that's good for now. It needs a background because it looks like it doesn't BG like there. Now it's the same kind of size. So we have that, and then maybe we should move that up to the title. So if we go to our feedback list, we have our comments. I guess this is our comments. So let's move that up to our title in a way. There we go. I mean, it doesn't look super good, but at least it looks a little bit better. And then we'll do the vote button. We're going to do the avatars on the other side of the button. So we'll do the avatars before, and then I'll do the rest of the design cleanup after. So we're going to do space between. Space between. Isn't that what justify between? No? Isn't that to like split them? What is it called again? So it's flex justify content space between. Oh yeah, because it's only this one. We need the card action items. So this one doesn't actually need anything. It's the feedback list. And it's the card actions. We need space between. What is it? Justify between. There we go. But now our button is gone. Where did our button go? Hello. The button is here. Okay, let me just undo this then and undo that. Okay, there we go. Where did that button? Where did you go? Oh yeah, because we have the 2 vote buttons, I guess. Oh, it was the Outsera code that wasn't like responding as fast as the React code when things were happening. Okay. Okay, item center, and then we need to have a line center, I guess, on the okay. Ola has to go to a parent meeting. So I guess I'm gonna do the styling when I align center. Well, I want all of these on a row. I want these over there, and I want that up there. But I think it's a good one so far. Look at that, though. It's working. We go to the comments. We have comments. I think we're going to call it there. Okay. So let's do the summary, Ola. So let's do the what, why, and how. I don't know if he can hear me anymore. We can't hear you, Ola. He's muted. Okay, so the what have we done today? We have added avatars to our FF Tech stack. So this is how it looked. You can see we have an avatar up there that's rendered with Outsera's data attributes. But we also wanted avatars on our comments and also on who submitted the actual feedback. So we did that using AI mostly, but I was very specific in the beginning because I only wanted to sync avatars into Supabase when we're exchanging from a Supabase token from an Outsera token to a Supabase token. And we are still not syncing all of Outsera's user data, all of your Outsera user data into Supabase. We're only syncing in what we would consider a public profile because this will be publicly available on the website. So we don't want to sync in email and billing information or whatnot. We don't want that on a profile table here in Supabase that we're going to make publicly available with row level security. That's not good. So all we want to do is bring in the avatar URL so that we can spice up the UI a little. So that's what we've done. It doesn't look so good right now, but at least the AI was really good with helping us change the exchange function. So instead of validating the Outsera access token /jot with our public key, we're doing it with a call to profile, because if we're allowed to request our own profile, or if the user is allowed to request their own profile, we know that this is a valid user and we can trust this access token. And then since we wanted to have the avatar, instead of first verifying the JOT and then calling the API profile or the profile API and then getting the avatar URL from it, we just do that. We kind of use the calling the profile URL as the validation step, and then we save the we upsert the Supabase profile record with the avatar URL, and in Outsera that's called profile image S3 URL. And an issue we're having with AI and Outsera is that the Outsera properties are always uppercase or capital cased, because this is a .NET application under the hood, and that's the default there, or that's best practice there, or not best practice, but the I don't know what to call it, the standards. So you'll have to make sure every time you're using our API that you change the properties to uppercase. And then if it errors out, we don't care. It doesn't really matter if there is a updated avatar or not. And then we return a Supabase JOT. And then the AI did lots of things to put this into our React code that we're not that interested in doing, but it created we created a profile table with the correct row level security. So we say here that users can update their own profile. So we could allow them to update different avatars for this specific application. And then it's updated the active feedback view that we use to showcase all the data on this page. And it's added an avatar URL by left joining on the outsetup person UID. And then it created a comment view with metadata that adds in the profile or the avatar URL here. And then I guess that's the two places it needed to do that. Yeah, and then it also did it for votes, so that we can also showcase these little like avatar stacks for the votes. Yeah. Any questions, Ola? He can still not hear me. Let's see if we can do the outro.
No questions.
No questions. Oh, he's hearing us on YouTube like 2 steps after what I'm saying. So can you do the outro, Ola?
This has been another
Ooh.
treasure hunt in the sharky waters of the World Wide Web with Queen Ray.